Hello, our topic is Communication Apprehension. This presentation is brought to you by the Speaking Center at the University of Mary Washington. This presentation will cover defining the problem, what is comprehension apprehension, the kinds of specific worries you might have with public speaking, and finally, how to tackle these fears. Communication apprehension is defined as an individual's level of fear or anxiety with either real or anticipated communication with another person or group of people. So that's a lot. But let's break it down. Essentially, communication apprehension is stage fright. You're speaking or about to speak and you get scared. Maybe communication apprehension for you looks like something in particular. Shaky hands, forgetting to breathe, speaking too fast. A lot of common problems in speech delivery all tie back to communication apprehension. Think of this as a good thing. Once you figure out how to beat this beast, you may find that public speaking in general comes easier to you. In the meantime, it's so important for you to understand that you are not alone. If you have any of these problems, it is not a personal feeling. The National Institute of Public Health did a study and found that communication apprehension affects about 73% of the population. It is the most common phobia in American adults, ahead of death, spiders, and heights. But let me say that again. We're more scared of public speaking than death. Maybe you're on the shyer side. Maybe you're not. But this anxiety afflicts a lot of people that you wouldn't expect. For example, Rihanna, Gandhi, Jennifer Lawrence, Aristotle, Maya Angelou, Harry Styles, and even Beyonce have all confessed to having stage fright. So, all of this to say, I can't emphasize enough that you're in good company. But why is it like this? What on earth are we all so afraid of? There are many reasons, and it depends somewhat from person to person, but here are some common worries. People think that their situation is somehow different, that they're uniquely unqualified to be speaking to others, and that they're the only ones who feel so terribly nervous. As we've already talked about, this is completely not true. We can just cross this one off right away. But some other worries include catastrophizing or focusing on the negative. This is when you're mentally picturing the speech you're about to deliver, and all that comes to mind are the many, many different ways things can go horribly wrong. This instinct can be hard to control, but it is obviously unhelpful. There's a simple matter of feeling unprepared and practically knowing that the speech you're about to give won't turn out so well. But most commonly of all, there's the paralyzing fear that giving a speech, we're about to be judged. Public speaking is putting oneself out there. For us college students, there's a literal grade attached that feels pretty much like someone's judging us. And it's only human. No one wants to be judged or laughed at. There's a worry that people listening will think you're wrong, you're not smart, or that you don't know what you're talking about. These problems, now that they're named, may seem even scarier than before. How can you ever hope to overcome such towering fears? But if you work to, you can. Let's look at some strategies. And let's start with what you can do before the speech. So, number 1, practice. Seriously, it is your armor against communication apprehension. One of the worries we talked about was underpreparedness, procrastination. We're all guilty of it, but there's no other solution for this problem than to put more work in. If your apprehension is worse than just feeling unprepared, practice will still help you. Practice until saying the content of your speech becomes routine, and you know your PowerPoint slides backwards and forwards. Do so and reassure yourself that you are the expert on this subject material. You've done your research, you've put a lot of work in, you've done everything right, and there's nothing else anyone could ask you to do. Then the rest of the presentation will be a breeze. You will arrive in class, maybe start up the presentation tense, but then literally relax and think, wait a minute, I know this stuff. What am I scared of? So, practicing will solve most of your problems, but there are more mental barriers ahead. Please be kind to yourself and put things in perspective. Have you ever given a presentation directly after someone else who had to give a presentation? Be honest. That day, were you really paying attention to the other presenter? Odds are, probably not. You were way too focused on what you were going to say afterwards. Realizing this comes with also realizing that people are all wrapped up in their own lives. You are your own worst critic. You're harder on yourself than others. And they're not paying as much attention to you as you might worry that they are. Crazy, right? The audience certainly doesn't secretly want you to fail. If you were struggling, that wouldn't make them any happier. They would feel awkward or bad. They want to hear your speech, maybe learn something and move on with their day. Here's an exercise that might help you. Visualize the best possible case scenario of you giving this speech. Your delivery is flawless. Your classmates give you a standing ovation. Your professor gives you the highest grade in the class and is so impressed that they give you a job offer on the spot. Visualize the worst possible case scenario of you giving this speech. You open your mouth but can't get through a single word. Your classmates boo you until you run, crying from the room. Your professor not only fails you, but then puts in a request to Tropano himself for you to be kicked out of the university. Scary, right? Now, more seriously, visualize somewhere in the middle. Genuinely, what do you think is the most likely going to happen? You give your speech. Probably you will mess up a few times, but it's minor. You say sorry in the middle of your presentation or forget to bring up a good point that you wanted to mention. Ultimately, though, you convey the important information needed. Your classmates clap when you sit down, then it's over. Whatever grade you get from your professor doesn't dramatically affect the outcome of your life. This method of best, worst, the most likely visualization before a speech can help give you necessary perspective and claim your expectations. It is a tactic that can be used for all sorts of anxieties, not just for communication apprehension. This is all prep work before the speech, but what strategies are there to help you overcome anxiety during the presentation? When giving the speech, try to appear confident. You do this with your body language. Stand straight, with feet grounded and shoulders relaxed. Standing just with your hands by your sides feels so wrong to us, but I promise it doesn't look strange. If you tend to tremble when presenting, I also promise that it almost always isn't as visible as you think it is. But if you're the fidgety type, try to direct any nervous energy with deliberate hand gestures instead. And make eye contact. This kind of body language unconsciously convinces your audience of your confidence, whether it's fake or not. They will take the cue that you know what you're doing and that you're a person worth listening to. One way to improve confident body language is through power posing. This you would do before your presentation, maybe out in the hallway or something. Strike a posture you associate with being powerful, like Wonder Woman or Iron Man stance, or something more personal to you. Taking up space in this way tricks your brain into thinking you're powerful, ready to take on any challenge. Then you can just carry that energy with you into the presentation. Making eye contact can be nerve-wracking as well, so there are always ways to cheat. Instead of looking in the eyes, look at the top of a person's head or the tip of their ear. Pick 3 fixed points in the room, left, right, and center, and switch which one you're looking at. Functionally, it will look as the same as if you were making good eye contact throughout. If you have a friend or someone you know well in the class, you can make them your anchor point to look at as well. Their familiarity can be soothing. Just be sure that this friend isn't going to do something to make you laugh in the middle of your presentation. Tell them in advance, perhaps. Look at someone in the class who's visibly bored. This can also be less nerve-wracking because you know this person isn't putting a lot of pressure on you. Then, finally look at someone engaged. Looking at this person should be encouraging to you. They're enjoying your presentation. Switching between these three people is just another way to give the illusion of full class eye contact when you're nervous. And the repetition can be grounding for you as the speaker, keeping you present in the moment and not in your head. The last helpful tactic in this video is the importance of pauses. Yes, pauses. Many people speak faster giving a presentation than they usually would outside of a speech. This could even be unconscious. After all, if someone is a nervous speaker, it's only natural that they speak faster, wanting the presentation to be over as soon as possible. And people hate silence. Presenting, it can feel like you have to justify every second that you're standing up in front of others. We feel it necessary to fill the void with anything, even with words that mean nothing, like But silence is your friend. Pauses are your friend. Taking a long pause may feel agonizing to you as a speaker, but sounds totally natural to anyone listening. Take a bit longer than you think you should. The adrenaline shooting through your body when you're stressed also makes time seem like it's going by faster than reality. Don't be afraid to slow and take your words deliberately. Doing so means that you won't have problems rushing or running out of breath, and you'll have fewer filler words. You might find that presenting online can be a lot less scary. You can have a script ready, and there's a disconnect between you and your class on a computer screen. If there are even people watching you in real time at all, great. In that case, presenting online can be a low-stakes opportunity for you to build up your self-confidence as a speaker. But whatever the assignment, having other people in real time to watch can be helpful. And by that, I mean you should come to the Speaking Center. Doing so, we can give you tips more fit to your individual needs, and attending an appointment guarantees that you set time aside for yourself to practice. So, we're still doing consultations online, and if you're interested, book one through EAB. I repeat that, book one through EAB, because we are having consultations online. Otherwise, if you would like more information or have any questions, you are encouraged to contact the Speaking Center directly at spkc@umw.edu or bit.ly/umw.spkc. Thank you for watching. I'm Amber, a consultant at the Speaking Center, and be sure to leave a like and hit that subscribe button.